Good morning. Pray first. I really hope that you are having a wonderful morning this morning. I got up this morning and I was like, it feels like it is 7:30 or 8 o'clock outside. It's so bright and sunshiny. I'm hoping that's sunshine. I don't know if we even have sunshine around here in Mississippi anymore because it's been raining so much. Hey, Bonnie. Hey, Christine. Hey, Kim. Y'all come on in here. Good morning. If y'all will, just wanted to welcome you guys, and it is Pray First for, what is today? The 28th of February. It's crazy. Can you believe that February is almost over? I can't, because I think like most of you, you can probably relate that January literally felt like it was 8 weeks long. It was just so long. I'm Brandy Bell. I'm so excited to be here with you. You have, if you're stumbling upon this page today or some other day in the future, this is Pray First. It's an interactive conversation that happens every Monday through Friday at 7 a.m. Central Standard Time, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I think that's Standard Time, yep. But East Coast time, let's just say that. And it's interactive. We want you to talk. We want you to give your thumbs up, your hearts, your laughy faces, all kinds of stuff. Normally we have Pastor Doug in here and he is just away for the day. So I am here with you and I'm excited to be here. Hey Barbie, hey Chris, hey Dalton, hey Amy. Just so excited. It's Friday, you guys. You've made it through almost another work week, you know. So hashtag shared, hashtag live, hashtag recorded if you're joining us at another time. And let's get going. Now, I want to talk to you about something, and I hope I didn't even get all of my notes really together, and that's perfect based on what I'm talking about, honestly, because, and y'all please bear with me. I'm seriously trying to get over this laryngitis stuff that I have had due to the sinus drainage and everything. So thank you for your grace with my voice. I hope that you can hear me well enough. But when I was in college, and I was in college in the Nashville area, I loved going to shows. Broadway shows, concerts, anything like that. And I still love the arts. I mean, it's just something that I enjoy. And I had the privilege of going and seeing a show called Rent. Now, if you've seen that show, you know that it's got some controversial stuff talking about it. But it's a fantastic musical score. And one of the songs in it is called Seasons of Love. And in the lyrics, it says, excuse me, guys, how do you measure a year in the life? And it says 525,600 minutes. And that's how many minutes there are in a given year. And so it goes on to say stuff like, do you measure it in daylights? Do you measure it in sunsets? Do you measure it in cups of coffee? How is it that you measure it? You know, I think that most of us are like, well, Brandy, I just measure it with the calendar. I mean, you know, it's the 28th of February. Tomorrow we have this extra day on the 29th. So we'll still be in February. And then we're going to peel it back like we did the wall calendars or the desk calendars and tear off February and we'll be in March. It's a new month, you know, and we do that in December. We'll tear off the calendar and we're in a new year. So, you know, a lot of people don't realize that we're still, even if you don't have kids in school, we still kind of revolve around a academic calendar, you know, and the fall, summer's coming to a close and we start gearing up. We start seeing school supplies in you know, the retail outlets or online, and it's starting to offer sales for back to school this and back to school that. And we start gearing up, and it's like we start getting into a routine again. And you know, then what happens? Well, then we rush into the holidays that are so crammed in the last quarter of the year, and then there's the new year. And then there's Valentine's Day and Easter and the spring and the bunnies and the ducks and, you know, everything else is happening. And we start being able to breathe again because summer is coming. And the warm weather, we're not being hermits inside our house and all of that kind of stuff. When we get the anticipation of graduations and all of that kind of stuff, and then the summer comes and blah, blah, blah. And it's great, right? And then summer, we have our holidays, our vacations, our time for our kids to just enjoy being out of school and taking a break or whatever. But then we start it again. So what does all this have to do with this? Well, it's like all year long, we wake, we work, we do extra events and responsibilities, we eat, we sleep, and we repeat. Wouldn't you say that that's probably the case? Give me a hashtag, yep. But I want to just say that I believe that, like myself, most of us take advantage, or take for granted rather, that we have another year. You know, we take for granted that we have another month. We take for granted that we have another week. We take for granted that we have another day. I am so utterly inspired by people that are faced with the fact that they don't know that if they have another year, and how beautifully intentional they are about living in that specific moment. And I will try not to get teary-eyed. Woo! Waves of emotion. I'm so guilty, guys, of taking for granted that tomorrow I'm just automatically going to wake up, you know? I think it's just human nature that we just think, tomorrow I'm going to open my eyes and I'm going to have today, tomorrow, and next week, and next month, and the next decade, and I'll be this age in 10 years and 20 years, and it's just the way that we think, you know. But I challenge you to change your perspective. You know, what if you have those moments or that you get that report from the doctor that's less than desirable, and it says, hey, you know what? We're talking 3 to 6 months here, or it's probably not going to be next year, or, you know, and I'm not trying to sound morbid. I'm trying to, one and one passes away at some point. And I'm trying to encourage you, as I have been convicted of recently with the Lord in a great way, to be so intentional about what I'm doing, where I'm at, and living in the moment. So we plan, we prepare, and we expect that things are going to go just like we plan it, how and when and all of that, and it's just going to go just like we expect, right? It hardly ever does. And then we're devastated when it doesn't, And we don't consider the day that we're living in right now. You may have woke up this morning like, oh, finally it's Friday, or oh, tomorrow's Saturday, I can do it, or oh, next week I've got to do this, or oh, it's tax season, or and all this kind of stuff. But how about when we wake up in the morning, we open our eyes and we say, thank you so much, God, that you have given me this day. I mean, where is our gratitude that the Lord of Lords, the creator of the heavens and the earth, has given us this day to live, to breathe, to make an impact in somebody's life, in our own life, to do the things he's called us to do. And I have talked so much in the past in my circle of friends. I've talked with on here a couple of times about God giving us specific opportunities. That's the word I love to use, and that's the word he used. It's opportunities to do something for today. Am I telling you to not plan? Absolutely not. Because you know who plans like all the time? Or should I say, who has two thumbs and loves to plan? This girl, kind of thing. Seriously, I love my planner. I love to write in it. I love to make lists and all that kind of stuff to make sure I get everything done that needs to be done. But I was so not living in the moment, okay? So I want to remind us, if you've never read James 4:14-15, let me just read that to you guys. It says, "Why, you do not even know what will happen tomorrow. What is your life? You are a mist that appears for a little while and then vanishes. Instead, you ought to say, if it is the Lord's will, we will live and do this and that." So I'm not telling you not to plan. I'm just telling you plan, but don't get so focused on tomorrow and 12 weeks from now and months down the road and all that kind of stuff that you miss what's happening right where you're at, because it's precious. You cannot make more time. You cannot extend your life. No matter what kind of money situation you have, no matter what kind of, you can't buy time. You cannot do it. And so we're with our family, and they're growing up, our kids, our family members that are aging, all of those things. I'm sorry, guys. We need to be there in that moment. Being in the ministry, you're there for births, you're there for weddings, you're there for deaths, you're there for the big stuff, and it's a privilege. But it's also a burden when you're at a funeral and people say, "I wish I'd have said, I wish I'd have done, I wish we had had more time, I wish. How amazing would it be if we could live so intentionally that in this moment, in this day, that we can lay our heads down at night, every single night, and have zero regret that we had loved hard, that we had lived life to the fullest, that we had squeezed every drop out of that day, and just live with an anticipation that God is going to give us the next day. Can you imagine what it would be like, you guys, if we could just change our perspective? We are not promised tomorrow. We aren't. We've got to live for today. It is a gift. It's not guaranteed. And don't miss what's happening today. I hear people in the healthcare, and I think, Courtney, you even were probably saying that. I can't pay attention to the the comments because I will turn into that squirrel on TV, squirrel like paying attention to 4 or 5 different things, But I think that she was talking, she's a nurse anesthetist and she works in healthcare, and I know I've heard her say it before that, that you see it all the time in healthcare, people with regret and not living in the moment, and I'm sure working in hospitals and around people where life is just not promised, and it's so evident right there in the moment that you're seeing it daily, that you're probably a little bit more aware of it than some of us that aren't necessarily faced with that with our patients every day. So anyway, we've just got to get that in our head, that we don't have tomorrow guaranteed. And again, I'm not trying to be morbid. I'm trying to get you to understand that we only have this one life, and we are here for specific purposes. And those mundane, little bitty, teeny tiny, insignificant things that we think that don't matter are actually the significant things that do. And So I want to ask you, as we get ready to close, are you intentionally present where you are? Just take a moment and think about it. Wherever you're at, are you intentional about where you're at? It's so easy in this distracted world we live in. We have one of the most distracting devices that we carry with us to stay connected, but yet so disconnected. And we carry it around in our purse, in our back pocket, and some of us have it in our hand while we're driving. Tisk, tisk, put that thing down. So here are just some questions. Are you eating while driving? And that's kind of a he. I think everybody has eaten while driving or operating a vehicle at some point. Are you preparing for a meeting while you're home in the evening when your family's right there? Are you holding a phone while your kids are talking to you? Are you, or your spouse or your friends, are you, while you're in the meeting, are you thinking about lunch? Are you thinking about what's going to happen that evening? If you're at church, are you thinking about the message, or are you distracted thinking about what's on social media, or the report that you've got to do, or do I need to be enrolling in school, or your homework, or what are you thinking about? If you're gonna plan your schedule around making sure that you are intentional about when you're going to do certain things. Make your family time deliberate. Make your time with your significant other deliberate, and let nothing else exist in that moment, just what you're supposed to be doing at that time. And here's some real life example for you. Sometimes I get so excited about what God is going to be doing in my life that I miss what God is doing in my life right then. For example, I think everybody wants to do something significant for the kingdom. They're always wanting to, God, what do you got for me? What you got for me? What you want me to do? And we miss those little things, like somebody dropped their purse and all their contents and we can go over there and help them pick it up. That seems insignificant. Or somebody behind us has $5, or in front of us has $5 short on their groceries, and we hand it to them and we don't think anything of it necessarily, but that's big. Those are big things. You were in that spot to help somebody, and don't take for granted those moments. That's an opportunity for you to shine for Jesus, and we need to do that and love others, But recently, I went on this women's retreat, and I had said, God, I haven't written some songs in a while, and I'd really, really, really want to write for you again. And please, I know that you can give me some song lyrics while I'm on this women's retreat. See, the problem is I had put God in this box, thinking that the only place that he could really help me was on a women's retreat, because that's where I had written one of my favorite songs called Beloved. It was on a women's retreat, and I was like, it's time. I want to, I feel like there's this writing thing that's happening inside of me. I feel like you really want me to write, and so I had only associated in my limited ability to understand God that he could only let me write songs. And so we went on this women's retreat. It was a great time, and I was really struggling spiritually with a lot of things. And I got up and went and had some quiet time, and I was just waiting. And I started writing, and I would write, and this and that. Nothing. And it would I'd get like 2 or 3 lines and nothing. So I got really discouraged and disappointed, and I was just like, okay, God, if this is not what you want me to do, that's fine. Well, then one of the girls that I've gotten to know, and that was kind of over this women's retreat, she said to me, we write every day on this blog, this group on Facebook, and I'd love to feature you sometime. Maybe you would consider writing sometime. And I was like, okay. I was not putting it together. And so the days went through, you know, the retreat ended and I went to church, just to, you know, finalize some stuff because I'd missed church that morning, but I went and just, do some things. And then the next morning, I was having my quiet time, and I sat here and I was just like thinking about this thing 4, 5, 8 months down the road that I felt like God might be calling me to do. 4, 5, 8 months down the road, you guys. And so all of a sudden he brings to mind this same girl, Dorothy. And I said, okay. So I had written some stuff before on a blog, but I'm very inconsistent. I had been very inconsistent about it, and I just not made time to do it. And so I sent her a copy, a sample of something I had written, because I was like, I just really want to make sure that you understand how I write, so and make sure you don't want to retract your invitation, right? And so I sent it to her, and she immediately writes back and says, I want you to consider writing every Friday for us. And I was just like, oh my gosh. She's like, I know it's a commitment, and you're probably very busy with all this stuff. And as I'm reading this text, the tears are just streaming down my face. And I said, Lord, is this what you meant by writing? Is this what you were talking about? It has to be. And he whispers to me and says, how about you quit worrying about stuff that may be what I want you to do 4 and 6 and 8 months down the road, and focus on the opportunities that I'm putting in your lap. And I was like, whoa, right? So guys, why do I say all this? Why did I share that? Because I want you to know your life matters to you, to God, those around you, the people that you're going to come into contact with. I just don't think it's a happenstance that you are about to encounter the people that you're about to encounter. Be present, live in the moment. And I'm going to leave you with this. Psalm 90:12. Teach us to number our days, that we may gain a heart of wisdom. Live intentionally, guys. Look for those God-given opportunities every day. Okay? Father, thank you so much for these truths. I thank you for using me in this moment, God, this opportunity. And Father, I just ask that you just continue to bless everybody in this Pray First family, that you would help them have eyes to see that they matter, that what they do and say matter, and help them to live, help me to live in the moment with intentionality, that I might gain a heart of wisdom by understanding that my days are numbered just like everybody else's. God, thank you for your love. Thank you for your truth, and the truth that sets us free, God. In Jesus' name we pray. Y'all have a wonderful Friday. Tell somebody you love them today. Reach out, hug somebody. Life is but a vapor. It's here one moment and then gone. But live like you're loved, because you are. Y'all have a good day. Love y'all.